Life isn't perfect, and neither are we.
Nope. But we know how to face our fears
And have some fun.
and talk about all the messiest things of life.
Like the messiest things.
Get connected to yourself, get connected to others, and get connected to the life right in front of you.
This is The Connected Life with Justin and Abby.
That's me.
That's you.
And you.
Okay, starting this podcast off. How do you feel about a little bit of truth-telling time?
Isn't that what every podcast is? A little bit of truth-telling time?
I mean, like, I would like to tell you some things.
Okay.
And this feels like a safe space for me to do it.
Oh, good.
I got to be honest. Mm-hmm. There are some things that I'd like to change about you.
Not surprised. Not surprised.
I was thinking the other day, like, how many couples must sit consistently thinking about all the things they want to change about their partners?
I mean, I spent a long time in our marriage doing that.
What? Mm-hmm. No.
Yes.
No, that's not possible. I am a perfect husband.
Right.
Yeah, right. I think it's natural for us to want to
change people.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons, and it's across the board. There's not a person that I've come in contact with that doesn't have someone in their life that
they want to change a little bit, just a couple tweaks here and there.
A couple or a big long list. I was talking to a friend the other day, and he was sharing how much he's like. Clearly how dissatisfied his wife is with him, that clearly she wants to change everything about him. And he was like, I don't even know why she's married to me.
Oh, I hear that a lot. Like, why are they married to me? Why did they choose me? It feels like they didn't actually choose me.
It feels like you chose a version in your head that you thought I was. But that's something that I want to, this podcast is going to be about wanting to change people.
Yeah. Listen,
for those of you that haven't caught on to that yet.
I am a professional codependencer.
Codependencer.
I decided to make a codependency influencer.
I'm a codependencer.
I'm a codependencer. What do you do for a job? I am codependent. Yeah, I spent my whole life. This would probably be one of the main themes of my entire life, and something that I've had to work a lot on. And codependency is so confusing because it feels so closely connected to love. Like, it feels like inside my body, it felt like I'm trying to love people around me really well. But actually, it's more connected to I'm trying to feel safe around crazy people. I'm trying to find a way. I'm trying to find a way to survive. Like, codependency is really a survival strategy. And I think me and you both spent a lot of our lives trying to change other people. Yeah. And that's something that we're really wanting to work out of, because I don't see that for us in our view of faith. I don't see that in God, the God that we follow. Like, he does not use control to make people do exactly what he wants, exactly how he wants it.
Right.
He allows free will. He allows people to be on journeys. So there's a very much a belief that part of loving people is allowing them to be who they are. Yeah,
and to be their most messiest self, and to learn their lessons and go on their journeys. I think I want to get into our history, because I think that that's really vital to this. But I do want to say that when I look at the foundations of love, I don't see like when I read off a list, it said love is patient, love is kind, and it goes down the whole list of love. It doesn't say love is controlling. Right?
Yeah.
And that's something that I think could be a swift kick to the gut for a lot of people. Like, because like you said, the concept is somewhere inside of us, we believe a lot of our expression of control of others
is loving,
and it's for their benefit.
100%.
And so it's righteously justified. Like, we have this sort of like, but this is a righteous thing, but it actually doesn't align with the law of love. Like you said, free will is at the center of all true love. What true love is.
Well, and I just want to say, like, I never thought I was controlling. That's a word I never even connected to, because I have such a, and I would say this is true for both of us. One part of me really, really loves, I hate being controlled. I hate people telling me you have to do it this way. You are control reactive. That is accurate. And I have the same thing. Like, I love having an autonomy. I love having a sense of self. I love getting to have my own voice and my own opinions. So in that way, I've never wanted to squash that in other people. I want them to feel free the way I want to feel free.
Yeah.
And yet there was this little part of me that was like, but if I'm helping / bullying you towards a good life for you.
Yeah.
That's loving.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm helping you towards what would make you happy, that's loving.
Well, it's just caring.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you said it, I was like, yeah, that's what it feels like. That's true.
I just care about you.
Yes.
Yeah. I cared about a lot of people too.
So let's tell our stories about how we grew into. For anybody out there who struggles, you either struggle with codependency, because most humans do, or you want to understand it. We're going to do a couple episodes on it, and it's going to empower you. It's going to break shame, and it's going to help you find a pathway through.
I think context is so necessary for everyone. Mm-hmm. So like, when you understand people's story and you get context for it, then you understand why that they do these things. And it doesn't justify these things, but it makes it make sense. And it allows us to act with a lot of grace in our thinking towards each other and towards ourselves, right? Because once we truly look at our own story, we're like, oh yeah, I get how I got down this road.
Yeah.
There's a grace and there's compassion for it. And then there's a call to change, right? And growth. I'll kick off with me. A lot of people have heard about my story, but I grew up in a house that felt very disconnected. There was elements in my home that there was expressions of love that definitely existed inside of my home. There was a lot of provision. Like, I was always provided for. And that was a really big deal. And I'm very thankful for that. There's aspects of care, as far as like, I want to give to you. I want you to have the things that you need. It's not just the provision, but like, I'll think of my mom. I use my mom as an example. My mom often was always made us meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I remember she would make my meals for me to go to school, and oftentimes I would open up my lunchbox and I'd find a G.I. Joe inside of it, and a note saying, I love you, have a good day. And there was an aspect of words of affirmation that were within the context of my life. And that was really beautiful. And I watched my dad, talking about my dad, I watched him always work really hard for the family, and want to make sure that we had. And I know that there's a lot of fathers that abandon their families in that way. And my dad was willing to put in 80-hour weeks, in order to make sure that there was clothes on our backs and food on the table and stuff. And so I'm very thankful for that aspect. While also there was, I had my brother die when I was 3 years old. And the death of my brother began a slow, chaotic unfolding of both disconnection, dissatisfaction, and a level of violence inside of my home. That's where I can pinpoint it. Is that there was a loss that was so devastating, and in the early 80s there wasn't access to emotional health care. The way it is now.
Trauma informed.
It was. I remember my dad once said to me, he said, I watched everyone ask your mother how she was doing, and I didn't have one person ever say, Bob, how are you doing losing your son? And that paints such a wild, like a picture of truth, like there, of what a painful impact that must have been, feeling so lonely. And I watched as my dad began to devolve into himself, like he went inward to survive. And there was that level of, I will push myself further into work and busyness. And my mom, she didn't know what to do with her emotions and what that evolved into was outbursts, because she's not only feeling the loss of a son, but she's feeling
the loss of a husband.
The loss of a husband, right? And
this is pretty common for grief, is that people grieve differently.
Yeah.
So when there's a grief that is equal to both people, like typically, like if my mom died, you would be catering to my grief. You'd be meeting me where I'm at. When you have a kid die, you both are having grief at the same time, and no one's grief trumps the other person's.
Yeah.
So it's much harder to.
And I can't remember, I read the statistic one time, but it's very low, the statistic of how many couples actually survive, stay married, or have any sense of good connection after the loss of a child. So the fact that my parents are still married to this day is like crazy in and of it. Wild. It's wild that they beat that statistic. But what I watched evolved was unprocessed grief that didn't have a place to go. And so it started coming out in wildly dysfunctional manners, to the point where there was, I watched a lot of rage outbursts come out of my mom. Now that mixed that with hormones that potentially were off inside of her, and not even making an excuse for it. And
from
PTSD
some trauma she'd been through.
Yeah. She'd experienced a very violent, previous relationship that was full of abuse inside of it. And you unlock that in a moment of trauma where it's just too much, and you finally snap over. And I remember oftentimes inside of this violent outbursts where on the other end of them, there was a lot of crying from her behalf and saying, I don't know why I do this to you. And that was obviously a cry for help. So I have a lot of compassion at those elements of it when I see it. And when I reflect on my dad, you know, one of the things that he said to me about my brother, when my brother died, he said, I had been stealing from job sites materials to pay for the family because we were so broke. And I can feel emotional while I'm even saying this right now. And he said, because of his broken faith upbringing, a very broken view of God, he said to me, I believed that God was punishing me. And had taken my son for the sins that I had committed. And that got deep inside of his head. And so there was this sense of
shame, self-hatred, self-blame.
Yes, I deserve this. And that's when he lost his joy. Like his capacity for joy started dwindling and going away. So there was this void going on with him. And so I'm painting this picture for a purpose. One is to paint a compassionate picture and an understanding, because once you understand their story, you understand how the implosion and the explosion, all of that starts taking place. But the result that happens is a very unstable home where it feels broken away, where there's deeper needs that I'm having as a kid, both the need for feeling safe and the need for feeling connected. And those two things didn't exist. And so there is a little boy who enters into a process of hyper-vigilance, who's very aware of the conditions of his family at a very young age, and is all of a sudden trying to find solutions. I'm going into a problem-solving mode inside of myself.
I don't feel safe, and I'm not getting connection, which are two core human needs for everybody. We all need safety, physical safety, emotional safety, and we all need connection.
Right. And so as this is unfolding, all of a sudden I am trying to be the solution for my mom's pain. So when my mom is breaking down in tears and angry at dad, and I'm trying to comfort her, and the thing inside of me, so I this codependency starts building up inside of me, because I'm like, I just know that if mom's in pain, I'm in pain. My world is going to be so much more painful. If dad is disconnected, mom is in pain, I'm in pain.
I'm going to get in trouble. Like, it's going to get taken out on me. If mom doesn't feel emotionally stable, then it's going to come back at me. If dad isn't taking care of mom, it's going to come back at me.
And not only do I lose a brother, I lose a father, and I lose a mother.
Yeah.
So I am lost in this extreme sense of abandonment at a young age.
Yeah.
And I have this deep longing to be close to my dad. I'm just I want to know my dad. I want to be able to go play catch with my dad. I want to go experience life with my dad. Like every part of my being wants to be able to engage my dad, but he's as far as the east is from the west. And so I find myself at a young age beginning to interject my opinions and my thoughts. So when I'm with dad, I'm like, Dad, why won't you do this for mom? Why don't you go get her a birthday card, a Christmas card, a loving thing, like show something do something to love mom. Like I remember I used to buy cards for my dad to give to my mom. There was at least a handful of times that I was like, Dad, here, it's mom's birthday. You have to take care of this because of the blend of, I want you guys to be okay.
Yeah.
So I can be close to you. And again, I want you guys to be okay so I don't feel pain.
So I'm safe.
Right. And so what I watched is I told myself, I just love my parents. I told myself I just care about them.
Well, you did love them too.
And I did. But for me, that's how I framed it.
Yeah.
Like it was, I see this person in pain. I want them to be better.
Yes.
I see this person disconnected. I want them to be okay. But what I didn't frame inside of my brain is the me.
Yeah.
There's something that I so desperately need inside of this. I wasn't self-aware of that. I didn't have language for that inside of it.
Yeah. As no kid does.
No, yeah, right. But it's not until years later that I look back and I was like, that was survival. My childhood was spent trying to survive and get needs met. And the way I did that is I got rid of me. I almost acted like there was, like I didn't exist. And I did all these things to what I called care.
Yeah.
Which was I learned how to try and control. And control wasn't just I'm trying to help you, but control also existed in I'm trying to be the best little boy possible in all circumstances. Because if I can be really good, maybe mom won't leave dad.
Totally.
If I can be really good, maybe they'll be kind of nice. If I can be really good, maybe they won't have pain today and maybe they'll be okay.
Won't get hit.
Maybe they'll be connected. And so there was an aspect of I'm not only trying to control you through outward showing up for you, but I'm trying to control you through limiting who I am.
Yeah. So you learned a lot of how, when you talked about hypervigilance, it's paying attention to everyone else's emotions and needs and the environment that's going on around you. So you're watching your mom's facial expressions, your dad's body posture, you're watching the dynamics go on, and you're almost like glued, almost like how people get addicted to screens. Yeah. That's what hypervigilance is kind of like. You're like so tuned in to what the people around you are going through so that you can try to find solutions before that turns on you.
Yeah. And it was so hypervigilant that I remember after I'd go to bed late at night, I'd start hearing them fight, and then I would slowly crawl up the stairs from the basement, and I would sit at the top of the stairs and listen to every single thing that they said and try to troubleshoot what I could say to them to make this better and what I could potentially say to them tomorrow. Like, because I was waiting for someone to leave the house, and usually that was mom and then followed by dad chasing after her. Right. But yeah, that was so deeply programmed into me. And then how do I say,
and there's almost this savior idea. How do I save my family? How do I save their relationship? How do I save their connection? How do and really underneath it's, how do I save myself?
There it is.
But you're not even aware of that. It's so outward focused. And that's where a lot of kids, I was just talking to a friend of mine last night, and she was talking about this girl. She's 3 years old, and she is starting to go to her dad and tell her dad things to do for her mom. Wow. And they have a horrible marriage. And so my friend is watching it, and she's like, it breaks my heart because you can literally see that the 3-year-old is picking up on how much tension there is and is scared and feels out of control. And so the 3-year-old is already trying to control their dad to be a better dad so that their mom will be okay. And often it goes really deep in this. Like it goes to such young ages that we don't even remember when it starts. But that feeling of everything is falling apart.
Yes.
How do I fix or save this? And this is why I have a lot of compassion for why we get in codependent cycles and why it can take us years to unlearn. I think codependency is one of the most deeply ingrained body responses because it goes back to such young ages and such huge survival threats. So when you think about kids, they actually need parents to provide for them, to feed them, to help them understand the world. And so if you feel like your parents are either not going to be safe or they're not stable or whatever, like your body instinctually is going to do something to try to fix the problem so that you will be safe finally.
Yeah, and it's very easy to have a lot of shame about codependency cycles.
Yeah.
I'm so codependent. What the hell is wrong with me? I keep getting myself in these relationships where I do these things, and I'm like, yeah, but if you're attentive to your story, you can actually look at it through, again, a lens of grace and compassion. And you can be like, oh, it makes sense that I'm here again, and that's okay. And it might take me a while to evolve out of this. But I think if we can get to a place of kindness and understanding, that those are the first major steps to being able to step away from it.
Yeah.
Because you recognize, like, once you, instead of judging yourself, get to a place of recognizing your story, then you can recognize what you need. So, like, once I started recognizing what I needed, I was like, how do I actually get my need met?
Yeah. So, like, if we could go back to the little kid on the stairs, it would be like, hey, what do you actually need? Instead of figuring out what your parents need to solve it, what do you need? Oh, you need comfort? Let's comfort you. Let's get you let's be kind to you. Let's figure out what is going on inside of you. Let's let you grieve. Let you feel your feelings.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what codependency is I stop my feelings in order to try to fix other people's feelings, instead of just feeling the grief.
Yeah, it was, and I think about even, I can vividly remember being at the top of those stairs, even now as I'm having this conversation, and I felt so paralyzed with fear. Like there was a bracing through my entire body of, this is all going to fall apart right now in this moment. And so even an aspect of it is the comfort of knowing that there's a future where I'm okay, and that we're all okay.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us, we don't realize, like, oh, I can actually give myself that right now. Like right now, in this moment, I feel like I did when I was a kid, like everything's going to fall apart. And instead of me trying to control this person through the guise of care, I can actually sit down with, like, oh, I'm scared, and I need truth about how I'm going to be okay. Yeah,
it's really good.
So I know you have your story that you want to share.
Yeah, that you did a great job of explaining that from your side. I think I remember reading, there's this book called Codependency No More. I knew I was codependent at a young age. And there's a couple things that I would say for me that really were hallmarks of it. I was enmeshed with people. So like I couldn't figure out where I ended and they began. A lack of clear boundaries is one of the pieces of codependency. But I remember reading the book and being like, man, like a lot of times if you grew up with addicts or abuse or instability or mental illness, those are kind of 4 things that if you grow up in environments like that, you are likely to struggle with codependency. And I remember reading the book and being like, I don't relate to any of this. Like, I don't know why I'm so codependent, but it was partially because I just still had a lot of denial about my story. So when I grew up, like I love my mom and dad, and there's so many things that I'm thankful for with both of them. My mom was so playful and so fun, and asked me great questions and made up great stories. Like she was the ultimate play buddy. Like she was my best friend. And my dad, super creative, really patient in teaching. Like he had learning disabilities and he was so patient in helping me with things. And so I was really thankful. I was an only child. They tried to have many more kids. They had 3 pretty rough miscarriages, one where my mom almost died and one that sent her into menopause. And so I was the miracle child. I think and they had a miserable marriage before I was born. I think they had a miserable marriage from the moment they got married. So, there was a lot of dynamics, right? It's just the 3 of us and they're at war. So then both of them, I am now the chess piece between the 2 of them. And I think that happens to a lot of kids. You don't have to be an only child to be a chess piece between your parents, where they want you on their team. And they want you against the other person. They want you on their team. And my mom was she had gone through a lot of traumatic things. And so she struggled a lot with depression. And I remember at a young age knowing she was suicidal and feeling like I have to figure out a way to keep her here, to keep her alive. Like I can't live without my mom. At that age, I felt like my mom was much closer to me than my dad, and because we had teams. And so I was like, I can't survive without my mom. And so I immediately, like now me and her, I can feel her emotions, and it is my duty to change her emotions, is like kind of what I think. I have to change her from feeling like I don't like being alive to I like being alive. I have to change her from I'm depressed and sad to I'm happy and everything's okay. And if I can change her emotions to be good emotions, then I will be safe. Then I'll have a mom. Then I'll be okay. And so, and she really did. She told me way too much. Like I read a book called Emotional Incest Syndrome, and that book really changed my life.
It's such a good book. Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what that is, there is something that happens to kids when their parents, instead of getting their needs met from a spouse or friends, family, community, they get all of their needs met from their kid, or a lot of their needs met.
You get parentified.
It doesn't have to be all of them. You get parentified. So now my mom is coming to me for comfort when my dad does something that hurts her feelings. Now my mom is crying to me about her life. I literally have memories of me as a young kid holding my mom on my shoulder and comforting her while she cried. So it was a very that immediately breaks the concept of parent-child. There's a little bit of boundaries that are meant to be there. Like I have my own friends and I have my own life, and I am an adult and I am loving and caring for you, but you are not my equal and you're not where I'm getting my needs met. That would create natural, healthy boundaries. But in an enmeshed relationship, I am now it's like peer-to-peer feeling. I'm sure my mom didn't fully feel like I was a peer because I was a kid, but I can comfort her. I can meet her needs. I can validate her. And this happens in a lot of families because you're like, my kid is the one person who sees how my spouse treats me. My kid is the one person who has this shared experience with me. So, my mom would be mad at my dad and I'd be like, yeah, that when he does that, it hurts my feelings too. And so she's feeling validated and seen by me in a way that feels really good to her. And I'm feeling connection in a way that feels really good to me. And so we kind of just began an overlap.
That's a good way to put it.
Of personality. And it wasn't like I did everything the way she did everything, or we dressed the same. It really wasn't like that. It was more just I was so aware of her emotional state, and I was not aware of my own emotions. I was more aware of her emotions than mine, and my whole aim was to make her happy.
Right. Because once it's an emotional overlap, right? And once her emotions become your emotions, you have to figure out
how to change her emotions
so that you don't have to feel that anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to feel depressed. I don't want to feel lonely. I don't want to feel hopeless.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel alone. And all of those things are things going on inside of her. And so I need to change her so that I can feel relief from all of the feelings I'm feeling being around her. And a lot of people who are empaths or really compassionate,
Yeah.
naturally feel what other people are feeling.
Yeah.
And then we have, like, I think it's very common for empaths to want to become emotionally controlling. And I never thought I was emotionally controlling, but the concept is I need to change your emotions so that I can be okay. I feel all of your fear about life. You feel so unstable. I don't want to feel this unstable. So I need to help you have hope about your future. I need to help you feel like you're going to be okay. I need to help you and dad love each other so that you're feeling loved and valued, so that I can now either feel my own emotions because you're out of crisis, or I can just feel your good emotions now.
Yeah. So that's what we've talked about this before, but that's the aspect of toxic empathy. It's where empathy doesn't have boundaries.
Yes.
So it's like, to me, empathy with boundaries is I can imagine what you're experiencing, but I don't have to embody it. I don't have
to feel it.
And that really is also compassion, right?
Yes.
It's like compassion is being able to see that. And like, I could step into your shoes, but I'm not going to sit inside of your emotions over this. And so,
but I felt like that was betrayal for my mom to be feeling sad or hopeless, and for me to be happy. I felt was betrayal.
I felt that
to love you is to be one with you, is to be where you're at. And so I didn't even know that I could have compassion for you for feeling sad, but I could still be happy. Two things could be happening at once.
Yeah, and that's something that I felt also with my mom, and I felt it in our marriage. There were areas of like, if I'm happy, I'm being a bad husband. Well, she's sad. Like, if my soul has happiness inside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of the same things that you did. I tried to save my parents' marriage. Parent Trap is like the movie that is made by kids. It's every kid's desire is to get their two parents to fall in love again, so that they can feel safe. Because we want love, we want connection. And then as I grew older, so my mom started getting sick. I would say probably like her emotions then also impacted her body. Her heart probably broke, and then her body broke. And so she got sick, and she got sicker and sicker and sicker. And as she got sicker and sicker, she could do less in life. And then she could also, do less in life. And then she also got addicted to pain medicine. And so then she became an addict, and she did a lot of erratic behavior. And so it was pretty chaotic. And there was a lot of instability. You never knew what you could count on. You never knew what emotions she'd have. You never knew what crazy things she did. A lot of the drugs made her do crazy things. So it was like a very unpredictable environment of I don't know what, my mom would eat, and then I'd make a cake for a school function the next day. She'd eat the entire cake in the middle of the night. Or, there was just so many wild things that she would do. She would do things and forget. She was on Ambien, which I think helps a lot of people. But for my mom, it made her absolutely crazy. She just did psychotic behavior and didn't remember it in the morning.
Right. And which also, as a side note, you look at this through the lens of compassion. Here you have doctors doling out medication. And I'm not trying to attack doctors. I'm just saying you have a medical community that throws out medication that ends up someone gets hooked on it. It's not managed well. And then all of a sudden it's not even her running the ship anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, I felt so. I've had chronic illness for years too. I know what it's like to feel sick, and you'll take anything to feel better.
Right.
Any amount of relief you can find, like you are just drowning. Chronic sickness is a beast.
Yeah. And
it breaks your will over and over and over again until you're willing to just cry uncle, like, please stop. And so part of that was drugs for my mom, and it really destroyed her personality. She ended up becoming a shut-in. She stayed in the house for 10 years and didn't leave, and she became it just changed her entire personality.
Which is also scary, the slow decline and the slow loss of like you're losing someone, they're slipping through your fingers, and that would obviously send someone in panic where they're like, what do I have to do to save this?
Well, and I think a lot of codependency comes from grief. Comes from unprocessed grief.
And the unwillingness to accept.
Yeah. So instead of me grieving, I'm losing my mom. Instead of me grieving, this relationship is changing. My mom's getting sicker and sicker. Instead of grieving what was happening, I went into trying to fix what was happening. So like, I'm going to help my mom come back from sickness. I'm going to help her start working out again. I'm going to help her eat healthier. I'm going to help her live life again. I'm going to help her come out of depression. Like if I can help her, then I won't have to grieve, you know? And there, a lot of what happened when I grew up was I had all this unresolved grief that I had never processed because I shoved grief down and back by just going into action. I'm going to find a way to save her. I'm going to find a way to fix her. I'm going to find the right doctors for her to meet with. I'm going to find the right protocol that will help her body be better. And all of those things genuinely have good intentions.
Right.
I did want her to not be sick. I know how horrible it is to be sick. And all of those things had mixed intentions. If you could come back, Mom, I could have a mom. It would feel so good to have a mom. Like one of the things I never admitted as a kid was that I even needed a mom.
Yeah.
I was like, it's fine. I can be her mom. Mm-hmm. It's fine. I can find a way to heal her, to fix her, to get her out of this depression hole. And when I find a way to do that, then I'll get a mom.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to grieve because grief means I failed. No, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing on. And I didn't realize that what I was doing was actually trying to control her.
Yeah. I wanted to add this. A lot of people would praise that behavior as being powerful.
Yeah, and there's good aspects to
right?
it. Yeah.
And there is like there's the aspect of like, oh yeah, a can-do attitude. I can find a solution, right? But it's disguised. Like oftentimes
there's a part of it that is powerful and a part of it that is
correct, is being disguised as being powerful. And if we get truly honest with ourselves, get rid of the denial, and we self-reflect, we go, and I actually feel really scared and I have needs that I want to get met.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah. And I'm going into control to do that.
Yeah. And so I thought I thought my mom was sick because of their marriage. So I was like, if I save their marriage, my mom will feel better. I thought she was sick because of her depression. I thought there was all these different diagnoses that I was trying to solve. Oh, if she had more friends, I'm trying to help her go be with friends. Like everything was, how do I help her so that I can hold on to her? And the truth is I wanted to not lose her. Yeah. And that's why a lot of addicts, people around them are codependent because they don't want to lose them. And they're feeling that constant loss, that consistent grief. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of ambiguous grief in my childhood. Ambiguous grief is grief that is continual. There's not an end date. So it's not like my mom died. Now I go visit her at her grave. Yeah. Instead, I'm watching my mom slowly. I'm losing her slowly to sickness. Year after year after year, she's less and less and less and less until I'm the caregiver. And the grief of that is so slow, and I avoided it by being so consumed by trying to save her.
Yeah, I think.
And what that did is that left, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it left all of my experiences feeling I didn't get comfort from myself. I didn't get grief. I didn't get attunement from myself. Like it left me alone in my childhood.
I literally was going to say, well, what it did is it created an experience of abandonment. Yep. Because once we get so externally focused, we actually lose the internal care that solves aspects of the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you could have actually figured out how to comfort and caretake your own soul and attend to your grief through that process, you could have actually not only allowed your mom to go down that road, but come out feeling resolved in a way that was much different than you did.
Oh, yeah.
You could have been like, it's sad. And I feel really taken care of inside of this because I'm attuned to myself. And I'm aware of what's going on inside of me.
Yeah, like I often think in my childhood, you know, another thing is my mom, there was like lots of secrets that I knew, which creates codependency because you're special with somebody. Yeah. You have an inner world. Like secrets between adults and kids is very dangerous for every kid. And I didn't even realize that for years, but that creates that worldview that we are alone in this together. And it becomes toxic when you're sharing secrets with an adult, because now you can't go and get comfort from other adults, from other people. You know, like I had uncles and aunts that if I would have said, it's really hard how sick my mom is, they would have been like, oh, I'm really sorry. Like I had compassion. There were people with compassion around. I never processed with anybody what was going on. I never processed with anybody. And that's part of what codependency is. I didn't process my feelings.
Yeah. And it's very easy to not do that, because I think about my circumstance and I didn't share any of my feelings because in order to share my feelings, I would have had to expose my experience. Right?
Exactly. And I had so much shame about what was happening.
Right. And I felt for me like it was a deep betrayal of the family system. If I went to a teacher, or I went to a coach, or I went to a youth pastor and said, here's the dynamics that's actually going on behind closed doors, I would have been a big betrayer, a bad son.
Yes.
So now I'm isolated and locked up behind those bars, because if I can't go out there, then I have to fix this in order to take care of this.
Yeah. 100%.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And secrecy does that, right? Like that is a hallmark of codependency. If you are not allowed to be honest about what you're experiencing and what's happening, then you are in a codependent relationship, because now you're caring more about making somebody happy or taking care of somebody than you are about what's happening in you.
Yeah.
And especially if there's abuse, a lot of people don't talk about the abuse that's happening in their family because there's so much shame about it, or there's shame with their parents, or their parents have literally said, don't you ever tell anybody about this. As soon as secrets are involved, you know that secrets with adults, like parents and kids, as soon as that's involved, you know that boundaries are gone, that boundaries are enmeshed, that now you're going to have unhealthy behavior from both people.
Yeah. I look back and I wonder, like, if I had at a young age started sharing, is it possible not only that violence would have stopped, but there would have been a requirement for self-reflection? Like if a youth pastor and some teachers got involved inside of my household, would it have been a wake-up call? I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe it would have continued the same. But I'm just saying,
hard to know.
There was this convincing that not only was it bad, but that it would destroy my family. But I'm like, but what if it was actually the moment where everyone had a spotlight turned on? You know, like there's something about in the Bible, it talks about how all things will be brought into light in the end. And what the beauty, because you're talking about secrets, and I'm like, but the beauty of light is that it shines on these places that are secrets. Secrets are usually only kept because there's something that we believe is shameful or something that is destructive and needs repair, needs attention and stuff like that, you know? And so if we got light inside of that space, very easily, it could have changed the trajectory of our whole family earlier on.
Well, and I want to say this because I didn't even know that it was secrets. Like no one told me keep this a secret. It wasn't that clear in my brain.
Right.
It was, but I look back and like when I started telling my dad, I started telling my dad about my mom being suicidal. My whole life, he had no idea. Why did I never tell my dad that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there, and I imagine you had similar things.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, you know, it's even to this day, my dad wasn't aware of what was happening inside of the house when he was gone to work. And I was told very often, if you tell your dad, you know, you're going to get, if your dad finds out about this, you're going to get it worse.
Yeah.
Right. And so there's like this sense inside of him that not only does he not believe it, but he doesn't want to have to look at it because that brings up a whole bag of issues of his participation, which I'm like, there's grace for him to look at it if he chooses to look at it. But again, if I had even exposed it to him and not felt paralyzed by punishment and fear, that potentially something could have shifted.
Yeah, and it could have shifted or it could have stayed the same.
Totally.
But it's the growth of now to get out of codependency. I don't have secrets.
Yeah. Like you look honestly at stuff,
and I have better boundaries, and we've spent a lot of time on how our childhoods impacted codependency, because I think it's really important that we actually understand our stories.
Yeah.
But we actually have stories of being able to get out of a lot of codependency and break through a lot of that. So I want to give people hope that exists. Is something.
I know that we've talked about what I'm about to say here on the podcast before, but I know that, so you and I had many codependent aspects with each other.
Oh my gosh. We were two codos that were codo. And it really hurt our marriage.
It was very drastic how it hurt our marriage. For me, there was me having to face this idea that I had to be okay with you divorcing me and leaving me somewhere within myself, right? Like I had to, part of breaking codependency for me was saying like, am I connecting with, can I be okay if she's not okay? Can I be okay if she leaves? Is there a life after Abby if Abby's gone inside of this?
And you have to remember, logically, there's one thing, but your body memories are not just responding to, can I be okay if Abby leaves? Your body memories are saying, if Abby leaves, it's the same as if your mom left.
Right. Can I be okay if mom leaves? Because my whole childhood is if she walks out on dad, I am done for. Yeah. Like my world is utterly shattered. There's nothing left inside of it. And so that was
that body memory is loud.
It was excruciating to face that because my entire being would go into this collapse inside of myself of this is the most horrific thing that could happen. Like I remember early on in my first 2 years of marriage, I had constant dreams of us getting a divorce and you leaving me and me being so gutted and feeling like my entire soul was being ripped into a million pieces. And so there was this terror at an unconscious level of I'm done for if this happens. And so I had to actually get really, as I was adopting a higher truth, and that was something that wasn't just worked out at a mental level, that was worked out at an emotional and a spiritual level. Like those were conversations between me and God from a faith perspective where I had to hear, God, are you really real? Do you really love me? Will you be with me if Abby leaves? Like, and will I be okay with you being with me? Like, is there love that will fill my life? Is there hope? Is there compassion? Is there care? Is there connection? Will there be a fulfillment of the needs that happen inside of me? Because that fear of abandonment was so amplified and so intense from my childhood conditioning that I had to actually face the greatest lie. If this person walks out, there'll be nothing left for you. And so as I got these new nuggets of truth that could only happen between me, inside of me in a quiet meditative space, once that got there, I could begin to not only accept that would be okay, but give permission for it to happen. Yeah. Like I had to cross over and be like, I give her permission to walk out, because there was something inside of me that did not give my mom permission to leave, did not give my dad permission to leave. Like they could have left without my permission, right? But my soul said, you don't have permission to go.
I'm not going to be okay if
I'm
you're
not going to be okay. And what that would cause, the repercussions is that I would go into the codependency with you. I would try to cater to certain things.
Fix my emotions, control, make me happy.
When it didn't work, I got angry, I got frustrated, I felt defeated, I felt hopeless, right? But the minute I could say, I give you permission to go, then all of a sudden I start letting go of all these other things as far as like my reactions. My reactions start to lessen. Yeah. Because I'm not trying to have a grip.
Yes. And that's a huge part of what codependency is that fear of abandonment. Whether it's like, my mom was in the house all the time, but on drugs, she was gone sometimes and then back.
Right, you didn't have her anyways.
So the idea of I don't want to lose you, so much of us wanting to control situations or people is because we don't want to lose people. We don't want to lose connection. And so there was a lot of ways you tried to control our relationship.
Yeah.
Either by trying to make me happy or by trying to shut my negative feelings down. Like there was like, I want to control this so that I can feel safe, so that I won't lose you, because abandonment, the threat of abandonment was so alive in my childhood. And there were so many ways I experienced abandonment. My soul's like, that is the worst case scenario. I cannot face that. Do whatever it takes to not be abandoned.
You know, and it's interesting because I would do everything possible to please you, and you still wouldn't be happy.
Well, you didn't do everything possible to please me, because there was a few things that I was like, if you just did these few things, I'd be happy.
So I did everything that I knew possible.
Yeah, that's great.
To try and make you happy, and it wasn't working. So here I have the little boy who's trying to be as good as possible. And when that doesn't work, I get angry because I'm like, there's no winning.
Yeah.
There's no winning. And the truth is, in life, there isn't any winning.
Yeah.
Because we're not in control of other people. There's nothing to win. Like you're playing an impossible game because you think you can control someone else's experiences and emotions, and you set yourself up for the impossible task, which is making someone happy. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Even if you are the best human being on the face of the planet, it's like still not possible. People still are their own autonomous being who's going to have their own experience. And so once I could accept, I can't make her happy. I can be loving and kind, but I can't make her accept that. I can't make her happy. She is her own person. Then
she's allowed to not be happy.
And it's totally okay.
And I can be happy.
And I can be happy on that. Once I could settle into the autonomy of that, then all of a sudden, maybe your day's derailing and I can still stay at my place of peace.
Yeah, and so all of a sudden now you're not an a-hole while my day's derailing. Now you're chill because you're not scurrying around trying to get me out of my emotions.
Yeah.
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 It's funny how codependency works because we think we're helping save them, or we think we're helping them be happy, or we think we're being loving. And often the other person is experiencing something that does not feel good. Like you feel so much safer now that I'm allowed to have negative emotions.
And vice versa, right? Yeah. We both had the same experience. What was I going to say about you pulling away? Letting you have those brought about a big sense of peace.
Yeah, for both of us.
Yeah.
And then when you had peace, like all of a sudden now when I'm having negative feelings, you actually can be more with me in them because you're not trying to get me out of them.
Yeah.
When I had maybe I was having a bad day and you wanted me to be happy, so you're pulling me out of my bad day. Well, that resistance we often resist.
Yeah.
And so now if I'm having a bad day and you're like, oh man, I'm so sorry, and you can meet me there, now I'm like, oh, thanks. And I can choose out of the bad day. And that often happens.
Yeah. I think one of the other keys too is that I turned off my hyperactive empathy. I'll call it hyperactive empathy, toxic empathy. I don't know. We're making up words for that. But I look at it as hyperactive empathy. Like it's overly tuned into the next person because you want to predict everything that's going on inside of them so that you can save yourself and be okay, right? And so I found a way, and most kids that grew up in some sort of abusive situation have this is their problematic behavior, is that this thing's hyper tuned into everyone around you to stay safe, right?
Yeah.
And I turned that tuner off. Like I found a way to say, empathy, I don't need you to be inside of that person at this level. I don't need to feel everything that they're feeling. And God, that was such a relief. Not just with you, but even with clients in my office.
Totally.
Like, I used to navigate a lot of what was going on with clients based on that.
By feeling every emotion they had.
And then I could tell them about their world, and they're like, "Are you a mind reader?" I'm like, "No, no, my childhood was rough."
Yeah.
No, my childhood was rough. And I'm like, "No, I'm, yeah. No, my childhood was rough." And I'm like, "No, I'm, yeah. No, my childhood was rough." And I'm like, "No, I'm, yeah. No, my childhood was rough." And I'm like, "No, I'm, yeah. No, my childhood was rough."
Ain't that the truth? That's one of the most common scenarios. The people who are the best at reading people, it's because they had to in their childhood.
Yeah. But what it did
survive.
But it burned me out, and it created compassion fatigue 100%. For me, because I was feeling way too much.
Yeah.
And I had to
because there were no boundaries. You could never say, I don't want to feel that. It was like, oh, they're feeling that, I have to feel it. They're feeling that, I have to feel it. They're feeling that, I have to feel it too.
Yeah. Which it makes it so easy now to work at a consulting level with people, because I'm like, I don't have to feel how terrible your life is right now. I can hear about it. I can have compassion for it, but I don't have to enter into it, because I know where I begin and end, and where you begin and
I'm
end.
allowed to be my own person. Yeah. I think in the next episode, I'll probably cover some of the things in our marriage that changed as growing out of codependency, because there's things on my side that also impacted our marriage a lot. Yeah. And also, I think we'll talk a little bit about faith and how that played a huge role in my worldview of codependency being actually glorified. That codependency was healthy and righteous and good, and how learning about the goodness of God actually helped me get out of that mindset. And then probably share a little bit more about basically the things that motivate us to be codependent, what we're avoiding, and how we might be ruining people's lives in a way that feels hopeful to us, to help us have leverage to want to let go and allow people to be on their own journeys.
Yeah, that's good. So for those of you who are listening, if you haven't gone to justinandabby.com yet and visited that, you can go there, justinandabi.com. And we have things like the Compassion Project, which is something that once you connect with compassion for yourself and you can attune to yourself, it actually heals so much of the codependency narrative that we're walking out inside of our lives, because it begins this self-care process that we're talking about that resolves getting our needs met. And so that is something that's really powerful over there. And we also have something called Reclaiming You over there, which really helps us get into our bodies, figure out what's going on inside of our bodies, be able to communicate about that. And a lot of times it's...
And how to soothe.
How to soothe.
Comfort yourself and learn that you're going to be okay from the inside out.
So that you can walk through those intolerable emotions and actually process them through your body. So you can go there. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, go ahead. What are you waiting for? I'm not trying to control you, but what are you waiting for? I think it'd be good for you. But use your own free will how you want.
Yeah, do what you want.
Yeah, but hit the bell button. And if you haven't written a review for us, if you've gotten anything out of this episode or any of our episodes, write us a review on Apple.
And for us,
iTunes.
I think the thing that is most beneficial is share the episode. Yeah. Send it in text, send it.
Share it on social media.
Because that's how so many of our listeners found us, because somebody shared a message with them.
So thanks for following along. And part 2 is coming up next.
Yeah.